guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to talk about yoga and core, and specifically a couple of things that you may be doing wrong when you're trying to work the abdominals in yoga. So in a lot of core classes, I see this particular move. It's called a tabletop. You have the lower back connected to the floor, the knees are up and the shins are parallel to the floor. And what I often see is this. The knees draw in over the belly or the chest rather than over the hips. It's not wrong, but it's an easier position. So if you're here, knees over hips, there's already some stabilization load for the core. The core is already working here. The core is wrapping around here. So we're working the back as well as the abdominals. The arms can be wherever is comfortable for you. But I want you to think about this move. We lower from the hip and we take one foot down to the floor, and then we bring the leg back up, and then we repeat and take the other foot to the floor and bring it back up. Now this movement comes from the hip. So where your femur and your pelvis join, that's what's moving here. It's right deep in the hip. And what I tend to do, which is your mistake, is that this happens, that it comes from the knee. Yeah, that's not the same thing. That's not working the core in the same manner here. The abdominal load has not changed. What does change is when you let the thigh bone move away from the chest and then come back up. Thigh moves away from the chest and comes back up. Now the problem with this is that I often get the question, well, my lower back lifts away from the floor, or I feel it in my lower back. Your lower back is part of your core. Can we repeat that? Your lower back is part of your core. However, there's a caveat to this. If your lower back lifts because you're trying to increase the range of motion and then you feel nothing in the abdominals, this is not working. Nothing's working anymore. So from here, I want you to notice, where does it happen? Is it here? Does it start to lift up, lift up, lift up, lift up, lift up, and then you just let go? And are you working through the hip flexor, or are you working through stabilization of the core? You'll know this because the pelvis will start to move as well. So if you took your hands to your pelvis and just rested them there and then started to move, what you shouldn't feel is that there's a lift. The pelvis is not pushing into your hands. I'm going to do a couple of these wrong so that you can see. So you can see that my rib cage lifts away from the floor here. This probably means that you're just not ready for this much range of motion. And that's where your yoga block comes in. It can be a block, it can be a book, it can be a small table, it can be a small child, but have your block in front of you. Bring your legs back into the position, draw the navel to the spine, feel the lower back pull down, and then from here, lower the foot to the block. If you can keep your lower back connected to the floor here, this is the variation for you. This just means that this is your range of motion, and that's okay. That's how strong you are right now. And the good thing about blocks is they've got different values. So if that starts to feel okay after a couple of weeks and you're doing good, lower the block to a lower value. Come back into your position. Can you keep the lower back and the pelvis stable? Coming back into that position. And if that's possible after a while, get rid of your block. So one other little thing that I often see in this position is that as one leg lowers, the other one starts to draw in to compensate. Yeah? So if possible, you want to keep the knees over the hips so that when the leg comes down, the other leg stays exactly where it is. Stays exactly where it is. If this knee starts to draw in, it's actually easier because I'm using this half of my pelvis to draw the lower back down to the floor. And if you're after that modification, that's fine. But if you want to challenge the abdominal stabilization, this knee needs to stay over the hip. So that only one leg works at a time. Alright, and one final thing about this movement, and that is the upper body. The upper body shouldn't really be doing a lot of movement, and it certainly shouldn't be squeezing in any amount as you lift and lower the legs. So when you come back and you start to lower, are you starting to lift your shoulders to compensate and kind of scrunch into the neck? Can you let everything stay down? The only thing that you should be moving is your hip. The leg is just moving as an extension of this joint right deep in the hip. Okay guys, I hope that helped. I hope that gave you a few little tips on how to work the abdominals and the core in yoga. If you're interested in more of this was part of a class that I did for my Patreon supporters. If you're interested in a full 30-minute class with this and a few other core exercises, then check out the link in the description below. And until next time, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not already, hit the notification bell for updates. And don't forget that karma is only a bitch if you are. So be nice, be kind, and be the change that you want to see in the world. Bye! Okay, so you might have noticed that things look a little bit different in here. I've just spent about 2 weeks remodeling this room, like completely remodeling it. It's like a whole new room. It's like a mini yoga studio. I'm absolutely loving it. Today is the first day. This is the first practice that I've had in this space. I absolutely love it. This is what's capable when you set your mind to something. Thank you, coronavirus lockdown. Make things a positive. Doesn't have to be negative. Focus on the positive. Where focus goes, energy flows. Focus on the positive. All right, my loves. Bye.